The White House recently issued a bellwether executive order for federal agencies to take concrete steps to improve the customer experience for American citizens. But what didn't get much attention and often gets overlooked is the user experience of federal employees working on federal systems to support the public. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk about that is Casey Coleman, Senior Vice President, Global Government Solutions at Salesforce, and a former CIO for the U.S. General Services Administration. Casey, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, Wyatt. Good to be here.
So let me start by asking, how much progress would you say federal agencies have made in the past year or two in improving the online user experience for federal employees?
Wyatt, I think there's actually been pretty remarkable progress in the last couple of years, although it might have been prompted by events beyond our control with the COVID pandemic and then the subsequent work from home and continue to carry on the mission in remote and distance kind of ways. So a lot of things that were not really envisioned 2.5 years ago are now commonplace. People being able to get to their systems, their data, their tools, anytime, anywhere with any device. However, I still think that the employee experience to some extent has been sort of the afterthought of IT modernization. We think a lot about the citizen, the customer, the public, but really in order for that experience to be successful, employees have to have the tools that they need, and they need to be equipped and empowered to do the job, to carry out the mission. And that means thinking about the employee experience first.
Well, where would you say agencies should focus their efforts in improving the user experience for their employees?
Well, I think the way to change the employee experience is really to start with the perspective of the employee, their journey, their experience first. So often, everything we do in the government is sort of an outside in. It's how were the systems set up? How were the processes created? And that creates a disconnected journey, not only for customers, but for employees. So you have to flip that around and think first about the experience of the employee from the very beginning, starting with recruiting and hiring and onboarding, and then going through the employee life cycle, and then all the way through to retirement or separation.
In light of everything that IT and agency leaders already have on their plates, how would you suggest they make meaningful strides to improve the online experience for their employees?
The first tip that I would pass along for improving employee experience is do not try to boil the ocean. Take something that is meaningful but bounded and tackle it first. For example, one customer agency, a large department here in Washington, tackled the issue of employee onboarding. If you think about the process of once you get an offer, then you become an employee, you have to go through background checks and security clearances. You have to get your badge. You have to fill out a lot of forms to verify your direct deposit. You have to take your mandatory training. So there's a ton of things to do. They created a process and a mobile app to bring all of that to the employee and create an experience that was connected, so they didn't have to go figure it all out. It was automated, it was clear, it was easy to use, and they were able to significantly cut the amount of time that it took for people to onboard and improve their satisfaction from the very beginning.
That. Well, can you share any other specific use cases where public sector organizations maybe are already benefiting from engineering a better user experience for employees?
You know what? Top of mind right now is the employee health and safety. Certainly, we are starting to see some return to the office, but that now creates the challenge of a hybrid workforce. How do you make sure that everyone is engaged and everyone is included in an environment where some might be in the office, others are working from home? And then how do you make sure that those who are in the office are safe and that their health and their safety are prioritized? Another agency that I can mention created an application with our platform where they were able to monitor employee health and safety and make sure that all their protocols were being adhered to, so that they knew that when employees did gather in the office, they knew who was there, they knew that the protocols had been followed, and they could make sure that they were giving the assurance to their employees that they were taking care of them.
Casey Coleman, thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of your insights about improving the employee experience for federal workers.
Thank you, Wyatt.
And look for more coverage and insights on IT modernization at all the events taking place during IT Mod Week and at FedScoop's IT Mod Talks Summit. And you can find more details on that at fedscoop.com. Thanks for tuning in.